Hello and welcome. My name is Joey, and today we're going to go over tip number 6 of the 7 simple tips to help relieve your back-related issues. I dedicated an entire series in this video over tip 6 because stretching is that important, and we're going to be going over a lot of information. And at the end, you're going to be going over and getting some tools of 8 effective stretches that you can do on your own. So let's talk about what you'll be getting with this tip. So you'll learn how to mobilize an area properly, which is super important, how to isolate the correct muscles, because that is key, and how to use different types of stretches, and ultimately how to do 8 stretches like a pro. So you're going to learn different types and different functions, but also 8 specific that professionals use with athletes and things like that and trainers. So why is this important? What is stretching all about? So movement is life. More movement, more life, better movement, better life. That's kind of an equation that I came up with that really explains that movement is at the core of fluidity, our health, and long-term injury prevention, and of course feeling better and getting more out of life. So fluidity, flexibility, and muscle stamina all help prevent muscle injury. And if you fail to prepare, then you prepare to fail. So it's all talking about warming up, stretching, preparing your muscles on a day-to-day basis, not just going into exercises, that of course doing that, but also what do we do on a daily basis. So here's what you'll get from this video. You'll understand the importance of stretching so you can know your limits. You can isolate muscles in motion so you can stay and get relief and recover faster. You can keep limber so you can prevent injury and challenge your muscles and joints so they can stay prepared. So let's talk about stretching your way to relief. So flexibility is key to maintain full range of motion. Stretching keeps the muscles flexible, strong, and healthy, and we need that flexibility to maintain range of motion in the joints. So muscles move bones, bones come together as joints. If you have good motion, then you have good joint fluidity. Without it, the muscles shorten and become tight, of course, so tighter muscles are not good. Then, when you call the muscle into activity, they are weak and unable to extend all the way. So stretching improves muscular development, increases range of motion, reduces injury, warms muscles up, encourages blood flow. All those good things ultimately can improve your posture as well. So the great thing about stretching also, it can be done anywhere, anytime, whether at the grocery store, the office, the park, the airport. Stretching is something you can perform anytime you feel the need to loosen up. So there's several different types of stretching. I zoned in on a few. Let's talk about this and a little bit more of the importance. Ballistic stretching, which is one I don't recommend, but I like to bring into attention of what not to do, but it basically uses the momentum of the body or a limb to attempt to force it beyond a normal range. It's typically like a warm-up or bouncing into and out to of stretch, usually to be avoided. It's like bending down and repeatedly touching your toes. This type of stretch is considered useful, but can lead to injury. So there's a couple different schools of thought. It does not allow your muscles to adjust to and relax in the stretch position. It may instead cause them to tighten and repeatedly activity to stretch and reflex. So that's a bouncing through momentum, not the best one. Ballistic, think of bouncing, something to be avoided, is my opinion, but there's different schools of thought. Dynamic stretching involves moving parts of your body and gradually increasing the reach, speed, and movement, or both. Dynamic stretching consists of controlled leg and arm swinging, and then very gently to the limits of the range of motion. So ballistic stretch involves trying to force a part of the body beyond its range of motion. In dynamic stretching, it is, no bounces or jerking is really involved like ballistic. So an example of dynamic would be slow, controlled leg swings, arm swings, or torso twists. Dynamic stretching involves dynamic flexibility and is quite useful as part of your warm-up for active or aerobic workouts, such as dancing, martial arts, classes, stuff like that. So dynamic, think of motion into more range. Now, active stretching, which we're going to get into when we show you these 8 coming up, it's going to be kind of a combination of all these, not really ballistic, but more active and static with some passive involved. But active is referred to static active stretching, which is active stretch is where you assume a position, then hold it there with no assistance other than using the strength of your own muscles. An example would be bringing your leg up high, like bending it and bringing it to your chest, and then holding it there without anything other than your leg muscles themselves to keep the leg in that extended position. So active stretching increases active flexibility and strengthening. Strengthening is really the opposing muscles. Active stretching are usually quite difficult to hold and maintain more than 10 seconds and rarely need to be held longer than 15 seconds, so keep that in mind. Many of the movements or stretches found in various forms of yoga are active stretches, so that's an example. So active is hold and use muscles to assist. Passive, it sounds exactly like what it is. It's passive, meaning that it is not really you move in, but you hold with the assistance other than yourself, so someone else assisting you with the pattern of motion. So it could be someone, it could be an apparatus. For example, bringing your leg up high and then holding it with your hands is an example of your hands using it, but you're not actively using that muscle to stretch it. So the splits is an example of passive stretching, and slow, relaxed stretching is useful in relieving spasm of muscles that are healing after an injury. Obviously, you should check with your doctor first if you are going to attempt to stretch an injured muscle, but it's something very useful when stretching an area that has spasmodic reflexes and then helping to very relaxed way to stretch a muscle. So that's something very important. Static is something many people think of as passive, but also static. There's a number of people who have kind of created this distinction between the two. According to many sources, static stretching consists of stretching a muscle or group of muscles to its furthest point and then maintaining or holding that position, whereas passive stretching consists of a relaxed person who is passive while some external force. So think of static, you stay in full motion as far as you can reach out and hold without assistance. Passive is you move into gradually, hold with assistance other than yourself. So similar, but a little bit different in the fact that you're doing things on your own versus somebody else or something else helping you. Isometric, which is super new, a way of stretching and very effective. It's a type of stretch that does not use motion, where it really uses the resistance of muscle groups through isometric contraction, meaning tensing. So isometric meaning same length. So they're not really changing the length or contracting, it's just tensing of the stretched muscle. The use of isometric stretching is one of the fastest ways to develop increased static passive flexibility and is much more effective than either passive stretching or active stretching alone. So it's a step in the a little bit more advanced arena. Isometric stretches also help to develop strength in the tensed muscles and seems to decrease the amount of pain usually associated with stretching. So it can actually decrease the pain and discomfort while stretching by activating these muscles. An example is using a partner to provide resistance. Having your partner hold your leg up high, you keep it there, then you attempt to force the leg back down to the ground. So you're kind of contracting against those hamstring muscles as someone's pushing you for more towards you to resist it. PNF stretching, which is a super cool one. It's stretching. It's the fastest and most effective way known to increase static passive flexibility. PNF is an acronym for proprioceptive neuromuscular facilitation. Say that 3 times fast. It is not really a type of stretching, but more of a technique of combining passive stretching and isometric stretching in order to achieve maximum static flexibility. PNF refers to any of the several post-isometric relaxation stretching techniques in which a muscle is passively stretched, then contracts isometrically against resistance while in a stretched position, and then is passively stretched again through the resulting increased range of motion. So a lot going on there, but basically you're being stretched, you're asked to hold against something, and then further stretched back into a motion. It may be performed, however, without a partner, although it's more effective with a partner to assist. It is important to note that the stretch muscle should be rested or relaxed at least 20 seconds before performing another PNF technique. The most common PNF stretching techniques are the hold, relax, and then the hold, relax, contract method. So these are just different types of stretches. Let's jump right into showing you 8 proven stretches, what I call the Feel Great 8. These are stretches that have been proven over time to get back pain relief. So let's talk about number 1, standing side stretch. It's basically the hips, hamstrings lengthen, and the spine relaxes the shoulders and neck, and stimulates digestive organs actually, and improves a sense of balance. So to perform it, stand with your feet a little wider than shoulder width apart. Extend one hand over the head, deeply inhale, and slowly lean to the opposite side. Make sure your chest is up, the neck is neutral in line with the curve of your spine, and your raised arm is in line with your ear. Avoid twisting of the torso. Hold for 10 to 20 seconds. Slowly return to starting position and repeat to the other side. So very effective. Let's go to number 2. Standing quadricep stretch. Quads actually do affect the lower back. If they're too tight in the hip flexors and quads, it's going to pull the hips forward. So this standing position basically stretches the quadriceps, hip flexors, lower abdomen, prevents forward pelvic tilt, like I mentioned, and the overarching of your lower back. Prevents the shortening of the lower back muscles, reduces inflammation, and increases stability in the knee. So to perform this, stand on one leg, pull your foot up and behind your glute using the hand opposite the leg you're standing on. If you lose balance, you may hold on to the back of a chair or a wall for stability. Keep your knees together. Pull your hips forward and increase the stretch. Hold 10 to 20 seconds. Slowly lower your leg and repeat to the other side. So this is, again, you want to do this bilaterally, but great to stretch those quads to relieve lower back. Supine hamstring stretch. This stretch loosens your hips, glutes, and hamstrings, conditions and stretches the muscles and connective tissue of your spine, improves your spinal alignment, flexibility, and movement, helps maintain an upright posture, and protects you from rounded back and pelvic forward tilting. So to perform this, lay on your back, that's supine on your spine with both legs extended. Bend your knee 90 degrees and grab the upper left shin with both hands and slowly pull the knee closer to your chest. Keep your lower back and buttocks in contact with the floor at all times. That's super important to get a better and more effective stretch. Don't force this stretch. Let gravity do the work for you. Hold 10 to 20 seconds. Slowly lower your leg to the starting position and repeat on the other side. So supine on your spine. You can do the hamstring stretch to take the pressure off your lower back as well. Another supine spinal twist motion while on your back. Basically twist, stretch the spinal rotator muscles. It releases and loosens the lower back, opens tight shoulders, improves posture, improves digestion, and detoxes organs. Actually has been found to do that as well. So to perform this, lay on your back and bring your knees to your chest. Hug the right knee while extending the left leg. Extend your right arm out along the floor at shoulder height with your palm facing down. That's important. Keep your left hand gently drawn to the right knee across your body. So draw that across. Shift your hips to the right and bring your right knee closer to the floor on your left side. Turn your head to the right and while keeping the shoulders blades pressed toward the floor and away from your ears. Allow gravity to drop the knee closer to the floor. Hold 10 to 20 seconds. Slowly twist back to starting position and repeat on the other side. So a great spinal opening lower back twist that will help alleviate. This one can be a little bit challenging if you have a discal injury, so be careful of that. But slowly allow your body to open up. It's going to help release those lower back muscles that are tense. You have a single leg hamstring stretch. This really is for your hips, your glutes, your hamstrings, conditions and stretches the muscles, connective tissues of your spine, improves your spinal alignment, flexibility, and movement, helps maintain an upright position, and protects you from rounded back, which we do not want, and forward pelvic tilt. Again, that causes lower back compaction of those muscles. So to perform this, sit on the ground with both legs extended out in front of you, bend your right knee, position the bottom of your foot on the inside of your left thigh, slowly scoot your buttock back, and lift your chest to maintain a proper pelvic alignment. Begin rotating your trunk forward and extend the leg toward the extended leg. Slowly bend forward, reaching for your foot. It's okay if you can't touch it, right away, but that's the goal, is to, really get those hamstrings loosened up. Try to maintain a straight back as you lean forward to maximize the stretch. Hold 10 to 20 seconds and repeat on the other side when you return back to neutral. So super important hamstring stretch again. The pigeon pose, one of my favorites. This stretches the thighs, the groin, abdomen, and back to help lengthen and strengthen the piriformis, which is super important muscle for lower back discomfort and sciatica. Opens up, stretches stiff hips, and stimulates the basically the GI tract. It's been known to do that too. So start on your hands and knees. Bring your right knee forward until your knee is even with your hands. The right knee should be in line with the ankle while the foot stays flexed. So that's important. Slowly slide your left leg back and straighten your knee. Try to touch your left thigh to the floor. That's where you want to get the stretch. Keep your hips facing forward and shift your weight so your right glute is resting on the floor. So that's important, that kind of rotation there. Slide your hands back and lengthen your torso. Raise your chest to strengthen your spine further. Hold 10 to 20 seconds while using your hands to support. Slowly bring your left knee forward into the starting position and switch to the other side. So it's a great one, one of my favorites. Here's a long sit piriformis stretch. The piriformis is a small muscle that helps with primary external hip rotation, and also a very tight piriformis can entrap the sciatic nerve and give kind of a pseudo sciatic pain distribution. So if you stretch this one out, it should hopefully relieve those areas. It improves hip and glute flexibility, stretches the spinal rotator muscles, lengthens and strengthens the piriformis, which we talked about, and relieves sciatic nerve pain. That's the goal. So to perform this, sit on the floor with both legs extended in front of you. Slowly scoot your buttock back and lift your chest to maintain proper pelvic alignment and support. Raise your right leg, bend at the knee, and cross your right ankle over your left knee. You can see that in the picture there. Slowly twist to your right. Place your right hand on the floor behind you for stability. Rest your left elbow on your right knee. It's kind of a twisting motion, and gently push. Hold 10 to 20 seconds. Slowly return to the starting position and repeat for the other side. That is an excellent one, and it really does cause instant relief. Last one we're going to go over is the cat pose. Now this one's very similar to the cat camel that a lot of people know, cat camel pose, but let's talk about cat specifically for lower back. So cat improves posture and balance, strengthens and stretches the spine and neck, stretches the hips, abdomen, back, and increases coordination, and really the stimulates the organs in the belly again. So there's an overall general health effect as well. So to perform this, start in your hands and knees, making sure to keep your back straight. Your arms should be perpendicular to the floor, hands directly under your shoulders, your knees hip width apart. So that kind of bridge type of presentation. Look straight ahead and inhale. As you inhale, raise your chin and tilt your head back. Push your navel towards the floor and lift your tailbone while compressing the buttock. Now this is going to go tailbone, pelvic towards the floor. After a few long deep breaths, exhale and drop your chin to the chest. Arch your back up. This is more the camel. As much as you can to relax the buttocks. Hold for a few deep breaths and return to starting position. So cat is belly to the floor. Camel is shown in the picture as it arches up. So repeat 5 to 10 times. Remember, breathing is important on that one. So that's what we have, guys. You know, those are great exercises. You know the differences, what's going on, and it may take several weeks to months of stretching to really notice these types of changes. But before you know it, you'll have a really sustained long-term relief, and you also have the habits, the tips, and techniques to achieve immediate success when you need it, but also long-term success to avoid major problems. Use this tip and these stretches we just went over to obtain success and relief and avoid issues in the future. This was tip 6 of the 7 simple tips to help relieve your back-related issue. See you next time when we dive into our final tip. Thanks again for watching. Hey, before you go, if you enjoyed this content, you would probably benefit from our intro massage package we created for new clients. Just click the Learn More button below to find out more. Thanks again for watching.